Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome and come on in to the final stages of this book, Conversations with God. We are on chapter 9, and we have learned so much from this book. Have you? I mean, let me know down below. Like, have you learned so much? I have learned so much from this book. And I am so honored that you all have considered joining me in this book. We are going to do another book. I thought I had it here. I think it's called Something with the Prophets. I'm going to have you guys look for the book. It's called Company of Prophets. Now, I got the book. It is an outdated book, but you can certainly find the PDF. So just research PDF links for books, put in its name, and you can download it on your iPad. So stay tuned for that book. Try to get it. This is a book of energy and uh, proven resources to have to deal with healers and psychics and herbs and all that good stuff. All right, we're going to elevate a little bit and we're going to get ourselves more spiritual with God's good earthly uh, herbs and belief system. Are you ready to elevate? Some of you are scared, and I don't want you to be scared. I think that not knowing is more scary. That would be scary to me. All right, let me get my Conversations with God picture up. Let's go to chapter 9. Chapter 9. I believe this is God talking. And God says, you may think this is easy. This, be who you are business. But it's the most challenging thing you will ever do in your life. In fact, you may never get there. Few people do. Not in one lifetime, not in many. And so Neil goes, why try? Why enter the fray? Who needs it? Why not simply play life as if it were what it apparently is anyway? A simple exercise in meaninglessness leading to nowhere in particular. A game you can't lose no matter how you play. A process that leads to the same result, ultimately for everyone. You say there is no hell, there is no punishment, there is no way to lose. So why bother trying to win? What incentive, given how difficult it is to get there? You say you're trying to go. Why not take out good natured time and just relax about all this God stuff and being who you really are? And God says, my, aren't we frustrated? We are frustrated, aren't we? And Neil says, well, I get tired of trying and trying and trying, only to have you come here and tell me how hard it's going to be and how only one in a million makes it anyway. And God said, yes, I see that you do. Let me see if I can help. First, I'd like to point out that you already have taken your good natured time about it. Do you think this was your first attempt? Neil goes, I have no idea. It doesn't seem as if you've been here before. Neil goes, sometimes. Well, you have, God says, many times. And Neil goes, how many times? And God says, many times. And Neil says, that's supposed to encourage me? And he goes, no, it's supposed to inspire you. And I think we went over this last week. I'm surprised I didn't stop at chapter 9. I think we went over this last week when I was trying to tell you how I was trying to quit smoking. I had gotten up to 2.5 packs a day. And I was trying to quit smoking. And what I began to realize is that in trying to quit smoking, I presumably kept failing. But that's not actually what was happening. I kept gaining strength to permanently stop. I was never failing. I was working towards permanent release of cigarettes. So when God says, on 148, do you think it's your first attempt? And Neil goes, I have no idea. And then God said, it doesn't seem as if you've been here before. And Neil goes, sometimes. He goes, well, you have many times. And Neil goes, how many times? Many times. And Neil said, that's supposed to encourage me? And God says, it's supposed to inspire you. Trying to get somewhere and not understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth is not failure. It's a step toward understanding, right? When you enter your first year in college, what do? They give you coursework 101. They do not give you coursework 105. They give you 101. And why do they give you coursework 101? Because that is the stage of putting something inside of you, your new vocabulary, right? The new process in a particular category. Could be marketing, could be psychology. It's the beginning steps, coursework 101, anywhere in the world, right? If they just put you into coursework 105, you would drop out of college. Some people have to repeat coursework 101 or 102 because they just didn't get the material. That's okay. Just re listen, repeat, do it over again. And you do this until you get to coursework 105. When a gymnast starts at 3 years old on the balance beam, she has to fall off the balance beam. She has to. The balance beam is designed to fall off of. Never thought about that? It's not designed for someone to stay on it. It is designed for you to fall off of. And so we start them at 3. And they fall. And they fall. And they get frustrated. And then they watch the older girls and they realize they have a model to live up to. Who are you? I'm a gymnast. At 3, you're a gymnast? No, at 3, I am trying to be a. Oh, that's a little different, isn't it? Yes, ma'am. And do you fall a lot? Oh, good. fall and get back up? I do, ma'am. Oh, good. So when I was smoking and I was trying to quit smoking, and a house full of people that they too were not ready to quit smoking, I was surrounded around cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke is addictive. You smell it, you want a cigarette. Somebody lights a cigarette, you automatically want to light the same motion that someone just showed you. It's a weird thing with drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, sometimes even gambling. I know people that can't walk by a casino without going in. They'll have convulsions, not literally, but you know what I mean. And so when I wanted to stop, I would stop for an hour. I'm not smoking anymore. Make a big announcement to my family. I'm not smoking. And boy, something would go down in my family. They would attack me or antagonize me or call me out my face. Sometimes I just got called names. One of my favorite names that I hate is weird. Like, you don't have a right to call me weird, right? You're weird. That's not the point. The point is something would trigger me. And the cigarette became my love, became the only thing that comforted me. It doesn't have to be cigarettes for you. It could be food. To be honest with you, it's food for me too. It could be food. And for some people, it's so much worse. Alcohol is a deadly disease. Deadly. Drugs, prescription drugs. So when someone stops and fails and goes back and stops and fails and goes back, it's not the failing that we should look at. It's the you're almost there. You're doing it. It's okay. Just do it again when you're ready. It's supposed to inspire you. How so, says Neil? First, it takes the worry out of it. It brings in the can't fail. Look at that element you just talked about. It assures you that your intention is for you not to fail, that you'll get as many chances as you want and need. You can come back again and again and again. If you do get to the next step, if you evolve to the next level, it's because you want to, not because you have to. You don't have to do anything. If you enjoy your life at this level, if you feel this is the ultimate for you can have this experience over and over and over again. In fact, if you had it over and over again for exactly that reason, you love drama. You love pain. You love not knowing the mystery, the suspense. You love it all. That's why you're here. And Neil goes, are you kidding me? And God goes, why I kid you about a thing like that? And Neil goes, I don't know. I don't know what God kids about. Not about this, says God. This is too close to the truth, too close to the ultimate knowing. I never kid about how it is. Too many people have played with your mind about that. I'm not here to get you more mixed up. I'm here to help you get things clarified. So clarify, says Neil. You're telling me I'm here because I want to be. Of course, yes. I choose to be, yes. And I've made that choice many times. Many. How many? Here we go again. You want an exact count. Just give me a ballpark estimate, Neil says. I mean, we are talking about a handful here or dozens. And God goes hundreds. And Neil says, hundreds? I've lived hundreds of lives? And God goes, yes. And this is as far as I've gotten? This is quite some distance for you, actually, says God. Oh, God got jokes. He's so funny. Oh, it is it? Absolutely. Why, in the past, you've actually killed people. And Neil said, what's wrong with that? You said yourself that sometimes war is necessary to end evil. He's assuming he was in a war. That's hilarious, too. And God goes, we're going to have to elaborate on that because I see that statement being used and misused, just as you're doing now, to try and make all sorts of points of rationalizing all sorts of insanity. By the highest standards I have observed humans devise, killing can never be justified as a means of expressing anger, releasing hostility, righting a wrong, or punishing an offender. The statement that war is sometimes necessary to end evil stands true, for you have made it so. You have determined in the creation of self that respect for all human life is and must be a high prime value. I am pleased with your decision because it did not create life that it may be destroyed. It is respect for life which sometimes makes war necessary. For it is through war against immediate impending evil, it is through defense against immediate threat to another life that you make a statement of who you are in a relationship to that. You have a right under highest moral law. Indeed, you have an obligation under the law to stop aggression on the person of another or yourself. This does not mean that killing as a punishment is appropriate, nor a retribution, nor as a means of setting petty differences. In your past, you have killed in personal duels over the affection of a woman, for heaven's sakes, and call this protecting your honor, when it was all honor you were losing. It's absurd to use deadly force as an argument solver. Many humans are still using force, killing force, to solve ridiculous arguments, even today. Reaching to the heights of hypocrisy, some humans even kill in the name of God. And that is the highest blasphemy, for it does not speak of who you are. And Neil, who's got a dense cap on, says, oh, then there is something wrong with killing. And God said, let's back up. There's nothing wrong with anything. Wrong is a relative term, indicating the opposite of that which you call right. Yes. What is right? Can you be truly objective in these matters? Or are right and wrong simply descriptions overlaid on events and circumstances by you out of your decision about them? And what, pray tell, forms the basis of your decision? Your own experience? No. In most cases, you've chosen to accept someone else's decision. Someone who came before you, presumably knows better. Very few of your daily decisions about what is right and wrong is being made by you based on your understanding. This is especially true on important matters. In fact, the more important the matter, the less likely are you to listen to your own experience, and the more ready you seem to be to make someone else's ideas your own. This explains why you've given up virtually total control over certain areas of your life. and certain questions that arise within the human experience. These areas and questions very often include subjects most vital to your soul: the nature of God, the nature of true morality, the question of ultimate reality, the issues of life and death surrounding war, medicine, abortion, euthanasia, the whole sum and substance of personal values, structures, judgments. These most of you have abrogated, assigned to others. You don't want to make your own decisions about them. Someone else decide. I'll go along. I'll go along, you shout. Someone else just tell me what's right and what's wrong. That is why, by the way, human religions are so popular. It almost doesn't matter what the belief system is, as long as it's firm, consistent, clear in its expectations of the follower, and rigid. Given those characteristics, you find people who believe in almost anything. The strangest behavior and belief can be, as seen, attributed to God. It's God's way, they say, God's word. And there are those who accept that gladly because you see, it eliminates the need to think. Now let's think about killing. Can there ever be a justified reason for killing anything? Think about it. You'll find you need no outside authority to give you direction, no higher source to supply you with answers. If you think about it, if you look to see what you feel about it, the answers will be obvious to you, and you will act accordingly. This is called acting on your own authority. It is when you act on the authority of others that you get yourself into trouble. Should states and nations use killing to achieve their political objectives, like in Palestine? I just added that. Should religion use killing to enforce their theological imperatives? And how much do religions kill people who do not follow them? Should society use killing as a response to those who violate behavioral codes, like the electric chair? Which I don't agree with, personally. Is killing an appropriate political remedy? The spiritual convincer or society problem solver? Now, is killing something you can do if someone is trying to kill you? Would you use killing force to defend the life of a loved one? Someone you didn't know? Is killing a proper form of defense against those who would kill if they are not in some other way stopped? Is there a difference between killing and murder? The state would have you believe that killing to complete a purely political agenda is perfectly defensible. In fact, the state needs you to take its word on this in order to exist as an entity or power. Religion would have you believe that killing to spread and maintain knowledge of and adherence to their particular truth is perfectly defensible. In fact, religions require you to take their word on this in order to exist as an entity of power. Society would have you believe that killing to punish those who commit certain offenses, these have changed throughout the years, is perfectly defensible. In fact, society must have you take its word for it in order to exist as an entity of power. Do you believe these positions are correct? Have you taken another's word for it? What does yourself have to say? There is no right or wrong in these matters. But by your decisions, you paint a portrait of who you are. Let's stop there for a minute. By your decisions, you paint a portrait of who you are. You know, I used to have a segment where I had people come on the show and talk about products that they've created, right? And I used to have a woman that came on for feminine products. Jeez, I gotta have her back on. And another one who's, I forget, Durex. Durex was another one. And I hear since COVID has left and Lysol has come back. Remember, Lysol disappeared. So they figured out a way for us to get sanitized products from their home. Very, very successful business. But COVID is no longer here, and it's time to shut the system down. So my prayer is that they come up with something new. He's a very innovative couple. Um, what was my point? Let's see the last thing that I wrote that I read. Oh, be careful of your. Be careful. No. Are you pleased with these pictures? The impressions you wish to make. Do these. Okay. There's no. But by your decisions, you paint a portrait of who you are. So I want to say to that, even sometimes when we're talking about a character on my feed, right? Sometimes what we say and our decisions help us to recognize how well we're doing mentally and physically, right? And so if you're on a feed and somebody says, I hate that, which never happens, by the way, this is just an example. I hate that person, I hope they die, right? We have to say something to one another on the feed. We have to be like, oh, that's not who we are. We're not that person. We're going to give someone the opportunity to know that they made a mistake, Dr. Jackie, to understand that one apology was fake and not appropriate, Dr. Jackie, and that if you need to give us some crocodile tears, we'll take the crocodile tears. But we need something that says, I'm sorry. By the way, she said, I apologize. Do any of you think there's a difference between I apologize and I'm sorry? Do you think there's a difference? I just, when she said I apologize, I didn't quite believe it. I wasn't feeling it. But I do have to accept it from where she's coming from, right? I can't keep beating her over her head. Let me see something. Is there a difference between I apologize and I'm sorry? How many of y'all have a terrible time saying I'm sorry? Let me see. The word sorry is used to express the personal feeling of regret or sympathy. The word apology is used in a more formal tone when something wrong is done. I think she could have used both words. Is it better to say I'm sorry or I apologize? There is a subtle difference between saying I'm sorry and I apologize. An apology is a formal omission of wrongdoing. Okay. It may or may not be heartfelt. That's what I was looking for. For example, a person may apologize without feeling remorseful. I agree. On the other hand, saying I am sorry is usually seen as being a true admission of regret. Interesting. Very interesting. Put this on my reading list. All right, let me say hello to everyone. Hi, Bree. Good health, sweetie. Hi, Black Coffee No Cream. Grand Rising, Miss Tracy. And Merry Christmas Eve. Yes. Hi, Rhonda. Hello, Tracy and everyone. Raina, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Raina. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was going to get up to do something, but I don't know what I was going to get up to do. It was important. How's your? Oh, I remember now. That touched my neck. I remember. How is your holiday weekend? Are you frazzled? Are you looking for gifts? Does everybody shop the way they used to? Are you all shopping, last minute shopping? I heard prices went down at the last minute this year. Ain't nobody shopping, child. People aren't shopping like they used to. Is everybody still buying Xboxes and stuff like that for their children? I'd be curious. Oh my god, I have such allergic reaction on my neck, guys. Ugh, it's just not going away. At some point, it becomes painful. Oh my goodness. Usually when something like I brought burdock tea to cleanse my blood. Oh my god, because this is so painful when I get a food allergy. Oh, sometimes I just don't want to leave my house. And then my body blows up, so I look a little plumper than. I mean, I always look a little plump, but I look more plump. I always carry a plump body, but now it's just like that. You know how you have like a 5-year-old who's like just a little plump, and you know her mama feeds her a little too much. That's how I look right now. All right, just complaining out loud. Okay, let's go back. All right. Remember, I used to have that show, and somebody would come on. I was trying to talk about jerks, and them in particular. I said, "Who are you?" And it always throws people off. I never tell them I'm going to ask the question. They're like, "What do I expect? What's this?" And I was like, "I'm going to ask you questions about your business, how you got started, yada yada, boom boom boom." But I never tell them the first question that I'm going to ask them. Who are you? I need to know who you are by way of who you think you are. I need you to process who you are when you're making a product that you're telling me you want me to buy. Now, I don't say that to anybody, I slip it in there. I throw them off on purpose, but it'll be a lifetime change. for anybody that comes on my show and wants to sell a product, right? If you come on my show and you want to sell a product, you got to tell me why. Why did you make this? Why you want me to buy it? Like, what do you have to offer? What are you giving back to me as you say, please buy my product, right? And I say that because, especially with black folks and buying things in like a Walmart, especially for our hair products, hey, buy this hair product. It's full of chemicals and it'll make your hair fall out in 10 years, right? And we just blindly just buy that crap. You read the ingredients, you can't pronounce what's in the ingredients because it's all types of chemicals meant to thin your hair over time, right? So if somebody comes through with the homemade product, I know what they have been selling me. I want to know what you're selling me. I want to be more intimate with you. So who are you? When you tell me I gotta buy a tool to stick it up my vagina, a hair product, a lipstick, because that will become the relationship when you know who you are. All right, back to the book. Thinking is, wait, let me see. By their decisions, your religions have created lasting, indelible impressions. By their decisions, your societies have produced their self portraits too. Are you pleased with these pictures? Are these the impressions you wish to make? Do these portraits represent who you are? Be careful of these questions. They may require you to think. Thinking is hard. Making value judgments is difficult. It places you at pure creation because there are so many times you'll have to say, I don't know. I just don't know. Yet still, you have to decide. And so you'll have to choose. You'll have to make an arbitrary choice. Such a choice, a decision coming from no previous personal knowledge, is called pure creation. And the individual is aware, deeply aware, that making and the making of such decisions is self created. Most of you are not interested in such important work. Most of you would rather leave that to the others. And so most of you are not self created, but creatures of habit, other created creatures. I mean, we see that in religion all the time, right, guys? Right? Where we automatically say something for generations that our people have said. I can't think of most of them because I'm just not religious bound. Let me see what's an automatic thing we have said for centuries. Oh, I know one. I'm so grateful God woke me up today. I'm so grateful. That's an inherited statement in slavery. What the hell? Hold on a second. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? We never get helicopters. Oh, Dios mío. The last time we had a helicopter, the president. We had a helicopter that couple of my neighbors was outside looking at the helicopter. We do not get helicopters, child. Nope. 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 We might get planes that land on water. We don't get helicopters. Uh-uh. Last time it happened, the president was here and there was helicopter after helicopter after helicopter. It was a sight to see. Let me tell you right now, it was very, very impressive. I have to tell you. Just now, I'm like, the hell? And I didn't hear that the president was taking a vacation, so what the fuck, right? I did hear the Secret Service was coming, though. I wonder why they're here. Hmm. Very interesting. Ciao. It was definitely a military helicopter. Definitely. Physicians read a woman. We are talking about God in this hour, and we're going to stay focused on God in conversations with God. So, if you're not ready to stay focused on God, you might have other things that you could be doing at this hour. We're very focused people, okay? We are not using the first day of my Sunday anymore to gossip. Now, come back at 12 or 1 or 2, then that might be different. But we're going to learn to stay focused on the topic at hand. It's hard. It's hard, right? And it's hard because maybe you don't know who you are, that you want me to get out of focus to suit your needs. Come back to the purple brick road, stay focused. And if you do that, if you become focused, maybe we can let Simone and her husband work out their problems. Maybe we could do that. Because I'm pretty sure you've been in a relationship very similar to Simone and her husband. So we're not about to make you personally feel good, to laugh at the best gymnast in the world. We're not doing that. All right, stay focused. By their decisions, your religions have created lasting, indelible impressions. By their decisions, your society has produced their self portraits too. Are you pleased with these pictures? Are these the impressions you wish to make? Do these portraits represent who you are? Be careful with these questions. They may require you to think, and thinking is hard. Making value judgments is difficult. It places you at pure creation because there are so many times you'll have to say, I don't know, I just don't know yet. Yet still, you have to decide. And so you'll have to choose. And you'll have to make an arbitrary choice. Such a choice, a decision, coming from no previous personal knowledge, is called pure creation. And the individual is aware, deeply aware, that in making of such decisions is the self created. Most of you are not interested in such important work. Most of you would rather leave that to the others. And most of you are not self created, but the creatures of habit, other created creatures. Then, when others have told you how you should feel, and it runs directly counter to how you do feel, You experience a deep inner conflict. Something deep inside tells you that what others have told you is not who you are. Now, where do we go with that? What do we do? It almost reminds me of like Tyler Perry, where Tyler Perry is like, oh, I was gay, but then I turned to religion and I found Jesus, and now I'm no longer gay. But Jesus is gay. God is gay. Don't let me hurt your feelings now. If God says, I am built in the likeness of you, the individual, not you as the totality, not you as a religion, but in the likeness of you, and parts of God is gay too, and black, and Asian, and transgender, and girl, and man, and innocent, and angry, and lesbian. Then when others have told you how should you feel and it runs directly counter to how you do feel, you experience a deep inner conflict. Something deep inside tells you that what others have told you is not who you are. Now, where to go with that? What to do? The first place you go is to your religious, the people who put you there in the first place. You go to your priests and your rabbis and your ministers and your pastors and even your teachers, and they tell you to stop listening to yourself. The worst of them will try to scare you away from it, scare you away from what you intuitively know. They tell you about the devil, about Satan, about demons, and evil spirits, and hell and damnation, and every frightening thing they can think of to get you to see what you were intuitively knowing and feeling was wrong. What they were telling you was wrong. And how the only place you'll find any comfort in is in their thought, their idea, their theology, their definitions of right and wrong, and their concept of who you are. Child, I had to break free of all of that because the only person I've ever known who I was from a child was a psychic, was a medium, was an intuitive soul. That's the only person I've ever known who I was. But if we add a title to all of my feelings, and the title is psychic, well, then there's demons and Satan and the devil and evil spirits and hell and damnation. And I'm like, what the fuck? Meanwhile, you who call me all these names, not you, I'm not talking to my purple brick people. You, just people throughout my life, you who call me all names, I know things about you. I know whose husband you slept with. I didn't. I just called myself a psychic. But you act all prim and proper in church, side eyeing the wife of the man you are sleeping with. Oh. Mm-hmm. I am openly a psychic. Are you openly a whore? And child, we've talked about this before, but how many pastors you know done slept with half the congregation and the secretary? That's not true. Most secretaries, do you know this in most churches? The secretary's like 90 years old. I mean, maybe they did sleep with them at some point, but oh no, 90 is pretty old. Does anybody realize all the secretaries are hella old? and holds all the secrets. You want to know about a church? Talk to the secretary. Bree. Oh my God. I've been a part of churches where the accountant steals. And then you come to find out they don't have an accounting degree, no experience in accounting. They literally lied on their application and steals. Uh, it was part of the team that covered it up. I was literally, this is Emmanuel Presbyterian Church in Los Angeles. Like, fuck those people, right? I was literally a part of a church where the front desk clerk was crippled. He was crippled. When I say could not walk, I mean it. Had those special braces where it had an extra clamp on it. This man was crippled and was the biggest pervert. And they let him sit at that desk for years. And my black ass comes along with Fletcher, and we started hearing complaints. Not that there couldn't have been complaints in the past. I just think people just want to turn a blind eye and just like, I understand, I understand. And I wasn't like that. I was an elder, I just become an elder. I guess people must have said, this is new blood. Let's see if Tracy can solve this problem. And albeit I was ostracized from the church as well, but I still solved every motherfucking problem in that church. And then they tried to kick me. It was really funny. It's just hilarious. Then they tried to kick me out. They even, let me tell you how good God is. They tried to kick me out my office. They were successful at that. Like, what the fuck? I don't need a fucking office, you dickheads, right? And then I called my son and I was like, I need your help. And him and a Calgary family came and helped move my stuff out my office, right? While they're helping me, they told the front desk clerk to call the cops. To call the cops. Like, I knew how powerful I was. I didn't know the cops. I found out later, right? And so when the poor clerk called the cops, this is not the clerk that's a pervert. That motherfucker got fired. This was a young person. He called the cops and he was like, we need the cops here. And they said, why? And he says, oh, well, we're trying to kick a member out of the church. And they, I swear for God, this is how God protects me all the time. The cops were like, yeah, we don't do that. It was hilarious. They were like, yeah, we don't do that. And the kid who didn't have a fight in this game, he was like, oh, okay. And hung up. And when one of the senior elders went down, because the cops were not showing up, one of the senior, again, I find this out later. One of this, I remember when the senior left the room, because I don't understand why he was leaving the room. And he went down to go find out where the cops were, thinking that motherfucking cops were going to come and shoot my ass. Or I had family there. I had my son there. I had my son's wife's sister there. Like, are you kidding me? We had another, my son had another friend there, like 2 black boys and a black girl and me. There was like 4 or 5 of us. Are you kidding me? How good is God? How protective were all of our angels in that moment? My son had his own team. Yell had her own team. His friend had his own team. I had my own team of angels, of spirits, of guides, of protectors. We had our own monsters there. They were sitting over that boys at the front desk going, hang up the phone. They were in the cop station going, oh, you're not going there. And the cops were like, I'm not going there. How funny is that? Once I heard the story. I remember the mature elder going down and then coming back up. I remember him shrugging his shoulders, but I didn't get any of it at the time. Because let me tell you something. When they said, leave this office, I sat down, I crossed, because they had found out I was a psychic. That's the whole purpose of the story. They found out that I was a psychic, and they didn't feel like a psychic had any place in their fucking church. I sat there with my legs crossed, and I said to them, I'm calling some people to help me move. And we're going to wait until they get here. I crossed my leg. I had a soda can I'll never forget. And I sat there looking at them with my soda can and waited. It took about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. You don't get to kick me out. I walk out. Proudly. Oh, and then they wanted me to sign. So funny. They wanted me to sign a paper to say I will never come back in the church again. And I looked at the paper. They put it in an envelope. I looked at the paper. They didn't put it in an envelope. They put it in a folder. I looked at the paper, closed the folder, and gave it back to them. And I said to them, this was on a Saturday, and I said to them, I'll see you in church tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know why, guys? Because I know who I am. Ironically, I know who you are too. Remember, I became an elder, which means I know all the secrets. People were like, Tracy, 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 Tracy. Like, really? Oh my goodness. And I would just hold on to the secrets. And if I had to use it, rest assured I was going to use it. Fear, fear, fear of who I am. Oh, I'm afraid everybody's going to find out that, I'm doing psychic work. Fuck you. Who are you, psychic? What? You, a psychic? You do devil's work? Yeah. I don't even disagree with them anymore. I stay with them. You do the devil's work? Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd rather people be fearful and leave me the fuck alone. It works for me. I don't care anymore. I'd rather people whisper about me, anything to stay away from me. It works for me because I know who I am. Do you know you're a whore? Oh. All right, moving on. I don't let anyone call me a prophet, Bree. No one. You know why? Because religious, black folks, religious people, use prophet this, as a word to replace psychic. So nobody's allowed to call me a prophet. But Jesus was a psychic and gay and straight and male and female. He had it all inside him. You know what Jesus really had more than anything, rather than label Jesus all of those things? That's what we do to each other. Jesus is love, not P. Diddy. How dare you steal that from Jesus, P. Diddy? Jesus is love. Oh, there's a bag. I was looking for my black pepper. Hold on a second. Please, black pepper be here. Black pepper. Yes, black pepper. Oh my god. All right, I'm sorry, guys. I've got to make mac and cheese for my neighborhood block here. And I ran out of black pepper, but I replaced it with white pepper. So I have white pepper in my cabinet. I don't have black pepper. But the white pepper is like finely ground, and so it's not going to work on my mac and cheese. You need uh, black pepper, not white pepper. That's not finely ground. This morning, I made eggs for myself, and I could not find the black pepper because I was going to use it for the first time because I like black pepper on my eggs. Listen, this is a side note. You got to know these stories too. So I was so pissed, and I almost went back out to get black pepper. But then I said to myself, "You're not making a mac and cheese today, Tracy. You're making it Christmas Day. That way everybody gets it fresh." So that's what I'm going to do. Hot, fresh mac and cheese. I'm also making, I think for myself, a stuffing with liverwurst. It's okay. It's okay. I know you guys have never had stuffing with very fine pieces of liverwurst. I get it. It's how I was brought up. I don't know how my mom came up with this concoction, but it's so fucking good. See, the problem is, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. The problem is that I have always told. Why am I talking about this? That I have always announced that I am Jewish. Always, always. I've been saying it for years until I got my ancestry kick back, and it didn't mention anything about being Jewish, right? So I gave up the ghost. I was like, well, and then somebody even said to me, "Do you think in a past life you were Jewish?" I'm like, "No, my bloodline is Jewish," right? But I gave it up, so you guys haven't heard me say it since I got my ancestry back. However, as of recently, child, let me tell you something. The Igbo tribe in Nigeria, the Israelites, they are Jews. Period. Because I kept saying, "God, why am I feeling this way? What's in my what's in my DNA that I'm feeling this way?" I say that to say, because my mom had very Jewish ways in cooking. Like you don't understand. I will eat manish. My sister would drink Manischewitz wine. These are little stupid things, right? But it keeps making. It's like putting these little bits of dots together, right? It's not like definitive. It's like, oh, this dot and this dot go together. And then, oh, another dot, another connection. Um, in any case, I have learned that I am Nigerian, high percentage of it, but they keep changing it to Ancestry sucks. I was at one point, I think 48% Nigerian, and then Ghana and Benin. My favorite is Benin, by the way, because Benin is where voodoo comes from. So I know Benin is in my blood. Let me see. Um, but I don't like the fact that it's not enough either. Like I need Benin to be like 86%. Let me see something. They always come up with these new stupid results without explaining why they keep testing my blood, by the way, or my spittle. Hold on. So now, are these new? Your DNA looks like, is this new? 26% Ivory Coast and Ghana. That's going to change. 26% Nigerian. 12% Benin. Love that. I love the 12% Benin. I really need that in my life. So what I have to do is take AfricanAncestry.com to see what tribe I come from. Once I know what tribe I come from, it is on. It is on. Because the way my black ass act, you know I came from kings and queens, not the way I act. I already know. Yep. You do too, child. So we got to research. All right. Let's go back a little bit and look at the comments. Hi, Colton. Yes, ma'am. All those other words are just that. Just church lingo or not say psychic. Yes. Oh, dang. They done got you to make your world free. Free. So my neighbor had a birthday and he was making turkey for his birthday in October, by the way. Hello. And I don't celebrate Thanksgiving anyway. Y'all know this. It's just me. I think Thanksgiving is evil, but don't listen to me, right? So we celebrated his birthday. He celebrated it with turkey. I think it was like on October 16th he celebrated, or October 11th. Who knows? So I was like, bet I'll make mac and cheese. Totally forgetting how my mac and cheese is world famous, Brie. Totally forgetting. I'm making a mac and cheese just to make it. I forgot. It's to die for. I did say that it's really, really good, and my family will not let me bring anything. And if I don't bring the mac and cheese, I'm not invited to the barbecue, right? I got that kind of family. They're not asking me what I'm bringing. Hey, Tracy, these are the options. They're like, okay, you got the mac and cheese. Do I? You got the mac and cheese, Tracy. Oh, okay. So once I made it, I had to give some the next day because it was to die for. And then they were like, man, you weren't lying. This is really good mac and cheese. I was like, I was trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, I make the best mac and cheese. The best. I can go against any chef, any world famous chef, any local chef. I'm gonna win mac and cheese party. Period. To die for. World famous breed. So it went from that to me cooking for one, two, three, four, myself, five, six so far. Six people so far. And let me tell you something. My neighbor here, I don't know if you guys remember the story. I was telling you about my neighbor, and I've been here for 2 years. And although I cook, I've never asked him if he wants a celebratory meal like Thanksgiving or Christmas or something. And in reading the book, Conversations with God, I realized that there was something very wrong with that spirit of mine. right? Because this neighbor lives alone, right? His children are in the UK. And what is that about me that refuses to offer food? Food is love, food is kindness. Why did that shit come out of my mouth? Do you know that neighbor, he lives right next door to me, is constantly at my door offering me food? Ever since this happened, he has, the most I say is good morning. Good morning, Mr. George. He's like, good morning. Always shows me a thumbs up. And he says, I'm going walking. I was like, okay, go walking. And as of, right after I said this, oh my God, God got big jokes. God got jokes. Because I was waiting for this event, Christmas, to offer him some food, right? And since then, he has knocked on my door. Right now, I got a bottle of orange juice from Tropicana, unopened. Um, and he keeps giving me canned salmon, which is so expensive. So expensive. And he goes, I have something for you. And I go, okay. And you like salmon? I do. And he scurries back to his apartment, comes back, gives me a can of salmon. He's done this 3 times already. The very last time, he gave me orange juice, Tropicana orange juice. I just think it's funny how it's my job to offer something to him, and somehow, in opening my big mouth, he is offering to me. So he is being an example to me. My God, like if God's going to punish you, you just sit back and wait because God is going to show you how evil you are, how inappropriate you are, how inconsiderate you are. I am feeling guilty every time this man gives me a can of salmon. Guilty. My God, people. All right. Stuffing sounds delicious. I wish you could try it. Black coffee, no cream. I really wish you could try my stuffing. It is so good. It's so good. But most people don't like liverwurst, so it's so good. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, Miss Tracy, I had a dream last night. Out of nowhere, it seemed like a war, but it was angels coming down to fight against demons. Everybody was scared, and I ran in the house. And my family and I sat in a circle. That's a good thing. Sit in a circle and just prayed ourselves. We thought it was literally the end. I've never had a dream like that before. So clear. The world was in shambles, darkness, lots of fire, booms, and things coming out of the sky. Have you watched the movie yet, JC? Where Do I Live? I always screw this movie up. What's the name of the movie that the Obamas made? Always screw this movie up. Obama's movie on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Leave the world. Leave the world behind. It's your premonition. Watch it. It's coming true. Yeah, it's coming true. I'm not trying to scare you, but I think it's interesting that in your premonition, you knew to take it to prayer. And that circle, that's a very organic, um, spiritual thing. The circle, it's sacred in the witchy world, right? The witchy pool world, right? It's very, very sacred. By the way, if that should ever happen, and the world is shakalaka boom boom, sit in a circle and then pour salt around the people in the circle. Yeah, I just, and pray. Yeah, pray a lot. But watch it, JC. That's totally your premonition. And you know you're very psychic anyway. So you are the newbies that is going to be taking over the world. You know you are. Maybe you don't know you are. I'm telling you, the newbies will be taking over the world, which is why I do this channel, which is why I teach about psychic stuff and spirituality stuff. I should start a school because I want you all to be prepared and strong, right? If something's going to happen, the least you could do is be prepared. That's the least you can do. So here's a true premonition. I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime, right? You're young. I mean, things are happening so fast right now. Y'all don't see things happening way faster? Oh, I know, it's Janaya. I know, sweetie. Yeah, you've told me about my spiritual gifts before. I always tell you about your spiritual gifts. And yes, please start a school. We need guidance and preparation. I'm ready. I'm ready to learn. Oh, Lord, don't encourage me to start a school. I will build soldiers. I will make you all more powerful than you ever thought. I will teach you to tell people, fuck off, out of my spiritual space. I don't acknowledge that. One girl used to say to me, she's so funny, and then she became very spiritual. How did she used to say it? I don't accept that into my life. It was so cute when I was teaching her that I was a psychic and spiritual. And I've known her since she was 16 years old, and now she's a mommy with a baby. And she used to say, I don't accept that into my life. So funny. Grew up very, very religious as well. And as most religious people do, we get conflicted, right? That was me too. Like, Jesus was everything to me. But the Catholic Church doesn't teach you about God. The Catholic Church only teaches you about Jesus. So I was so confused as to where's God in my life, right? How do I place him there when I've never had an opportunity to speak to him? And the Catholic says, oh, no, 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 you don't speak to God. You got to go to St. Bernadette and St. this, that, and the third. They talk to God. And I keep reading as an adult now where God is like, talk to me. If you want something, talk to me. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to talk to you, God, when I was raised to believe you ain't to be talked to? I'm not supposed to talk to you directly. I'm supposed to fear you. So I'm acknowledging my fear of you because that's what I was taught. Back to the book, right? That's what I was taught. When in actuality, who else is going to intercede? Who else is going to know what you really need out of God if you don't talk to him directly? And so when you talk to God, our Father who art in heaven, you say a prayer and then you talk from your heart. God, please make this stop. Please bring this into my life. And if you got to cry, cry. Will you talk to God directly? There's no need for interceders. Nope, I don't need an interpreter. Nope, I'm good. It turns out God knows my language. He understands hood language, Chinese, English, German. He understands. He got it. He created it all. I don't need an interceder, interceptor, saint nobody. I don't think so. However, it's okay to pray to a saint that might understand what you're going through, just as it's okay to also pray to your ancestors and your angels and your guides. God is not going to stop you. God is like, get here any way you can. Just know the end result is me. Yes, we would be some bad mama jamas with Miss Tracy. It's true. Y'all be very, very powerful. All right. We have to wait and see because, I have been doing tarot classes, Janaea, for years. I don't even know when I began. That's how long it's been, 6 or 7 years. And a lot of people come through wanting to know the education, but wanting to, like, I swear, like, put me down. I have so many people that come into my world, walk into my house, and then let me know how much better they are than me. And it's like, I don't really care if you're better. If you're better, you can participate in a teaching. Like, I'm always willing to learn from someone education that's required, higher education, different education, cultural differences, right? That's not what happens, Janaea. People come into my world. I am teaching them to have themselves turn around and try to make me feel inadequate, try to be better than me, try to take my own people from me. This has been going on for 6 or 7 years. And the worst part is that they start out as friends, very, very close, talking constantly, and ultimately hating the teacher because they can't keep up. I know why it happens, because it's exhausting to keep up the work of God. It's exhausting. Oh my God. In any case, it is what it is, huh? So I'll think about it. A course curriculum. I'll think about it. But right now, I teach tarot classes, and I actually don't teach the tarot cards. I teach how to look at life differently. And that's the fun part about my classes. I give two fucks if you learn how to do the tarot classes. Read tarot. I care that I break open your third eye. I care that you get to see who you are through the tarot. I get that you allow yourself a different explanation of things. Don't be so static or stoic in your impression of this, that, and the third. That being flexible is really God. And that's what I really teach. And that's the fun part. And everybody always says, oh my God, I love your classes. And you love it because I ain't teaching tarot, child. I don't give a shit if you learn tarot. I am teaching personal change. And I love that. JC, you crack me up. You don't mess with no psychic Leo. They better fall back. They either got it or they don't. They can't learn anything because they're too busy trying to be better. Or no, it ain't all operating in ego. So true, sweetie. Thank you for that. They better go. Let me tell you something. I have kicked many people out of my group, my tarot class, because It's important to power up. You are not allowed to power up against me. Mm-mm. But you can power up, right? You got family members to deal with, co-workers to deal with. You can power up for you, not against me, child. Because I don't put up with it. I'm like, bye, bye. All right. We are well paid. I never go this long. Let me see. So much here. All right. You know what? I'm just going to stop here rather than go back to the book. I just need to find out where I left. Be careful of your questions. They may require you to think. Thinking is hard. Still, you have to decide. You have to make arbitrary choices. Such a choice, a discussion coming from no previous knowledge, pure creation. Most of you are not interested in such important work. Most of you would rather leave that to others. And some of you are not self created, but creatures of habit, other created creatures. Then, when others have told you how you should feel, and it runs directly counter to how you do feel, you experience a deep inner conflict. Something deep inside tells you that what others have told you is not who you are. Now, where do you go with that? What do you do? The first thing you do is go to your religious, the people who put you there in the first place. So you go to your priests, your rabbis, your ministers, your pastors, your teachers, and they tell you to stop listening to yourself. The worst of them will try to scare you away from what you intuitively know. They tell you about the devil, about Satan, demons, evil spirits, hell, damnation, and and very frightening thing they can think of. And every frightening thing they could think of to get you to see how what you intuitively knowing and feeling was wrong. And how the only place you'll find any comfort in their thought, their ideas, their ideal, their definitions of right and wrong, and their concept of who you are. The seduction here is that all of you have to do to get instant approval is to agree. Agree, and you have instant approval. Some of you will even sing, shout, and dance, and wave their arms, and hallelujah. It's hard to resist such approval, such rejoicing that you have seen the light, that you have been saved. Do you know I never wanted to be saved? That's a topic for another day. I've never wanted to be saved. Ever. I do not need to be saved. I am. I am here. I am. I do not need to be saved. It has nothing to do with baptism. I'm telling you, I do not need to be saved. The other thing I want to point out, and this is a long story, I can't get into it right now, but there really is no hell, and that the many evil entities lives amongst the stars. There's no underbelly. They're actually up in the skies amongst the stars. It's all an illusion. All right, good number to stop at 155. We're stopping at 155. We'll be on 155 next week. It's a state of mind, yes. Me either. In church, I never understood why they said Jesus came to save us all. Okay, then why do I need to be saved again? So true. Makes no sense to me. I'm just saying. Jesus came here once to save us all. That is so true. He died to save us. Jesus came for one message. And those that matter, that had the opportunity from the death of Jesus, missed the mark. I hate to say this, guys, but after Jesus died, the parts in the Bible after Jesus died missed the mark. They became religious. They put all types of rules onto us that was there before they all met Jesus, before the disciples that are left met Jesus. Read the second part of the Bible, not including Revelations. After Jesus died and Paul and them had to go out and speak to the people. Every time they spoke, they put a rule in their rhetoric. Women gotta wear hats on their head or whatever they said, cover their heads. Why? They did exactly what Jesus said not to do. I promise you. That's why they all had horrible deaths, by the way. They all had horrible deaths because once again, they missed the mark. They missed, oh my God. They missed the mark when Jesus was here. How many of them fools kept falling asleep? It was like the Three Stooges. Poor Jesus. And Jesus like, I'm about to die. And they were like, yeah, no, I don't believe that, Jesus. And Jesus like, no, really, I had a premonition. I'm going to die. And they were like, oh my God, Jesus, you're so dramatic. And he's like, no, I swear to God. And Judas is the one that's going to turn me in. And Judas was like, dude, I've been professing my love for you. And Jesus is like, oh my God, nobody believes me. And Jesus was like, all right, you know what, guys? Relax. I'm going to go to the mountain. And I need you to stay vigilant down here, right? I got to go talk to God because I got a bunch of idiots surrounding me, right? Jesus goes, disappears, stays away way too long, comes back. All them motherfuckers are sleeping. And Jesus was like, get the fuck up. What the fuck is wrong with you? No, I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry. We just thought you wouldn't come back. We were waiting here for a very long time, Jesus. Kind of getting hungry, too. Oh, my God. Poor Jesus. When you read the Bible from a comedic standpoint, poor Jesus. He was surrounded around idiots. So don't worry about you. The people that were there were idiots. Oh, my God. And then those same idiots, after Jesus died, went around to spread the word of Christianity. I mean, it worked, right? Thank God. We're grateful that they did get the word out there. However, they were still idiots because the only message that Jesus came down, which is the one message that God had left out, Jesus came down for one message: love. Love. He knew that if you act from a place of love, there would be no wars, there would be no arguments, there would be no Cain and Abel. Love was missing the whole time. Jesus is love, not P. Diddy.
Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live.